The sun is just coming up and have my tweed suit on. I'm heading to the train station to take the train to New Haven to visit the Yale Center for British Art because, wouldn't you know it, I'm having a pair of leather breeches made in colonial Williamsburg, and the leather breeches maker told me that I should go to the Yale Center for British Art and look at paintings to see firsthand how these gentlemen wore their sporting outfits in the late 1700s. Why am I having a pair of leather breeches made? Because this July the 4th is the 250th anniversary of America, and I plan to attend a very special celebration where we're all dressing in period clothing. So I'm going to look at some paintings to figure out what other articles of clothing I would like to wear / make to go with these leather breeches. Crazy. Yeah, I gotta rush off. Very excited. I haven't been to the Yale Center for British Arts. I've been to Yale, been to New Haven. There's some great pizza in New Haven, but today it's a field trip. It's an adventure outside the city to see what we can see. This is exactly what I came to see, a painting from the late 1700s of a man wearing leather breeches. Now, what are the other things that he's wearing? His waistcoat, his frock coat, his hat, his boots. I'm looking at primary source material here, and that is very inspiring. I'm seeing exactly what the scene would have looked like in the 1700s. The amount of detail that was captured by these painters is really incredible. You can get in super close and see things like the metal threads in the lace trim of a garment. And this is something that costumers and historians have been doing for ages, looking at paintings to recreate garments from the past. One of my favorite things to see in a museum is a study for a larger, grander painting, and that's what this is here. This is just a head study of a gentleman that was going to be used in a bigger painting. I think there's something about these studies that speaks to me as a student and as a painter. I loved how this beautiful limestone bust was displayed. Not behind glass, not up against a wall. You could walk right around it. It just took my breath away. The day became a kind of play day for me where I had a game, and the game was to find men wearing leather breeches in these paintings. I had to search. I was told by the leather breeches maker from Williamsburg that not all of these buff-colored breeches were leather, that in the 1770s, a cotton fabric from China called nankeen became popular for breeches. I thought I would be looking at just single portraits of men, and that would be my starting point, but I found it really interesting that I was looking at paintings like this, of a scene, and even in these paintings, men were wearing potentially leather breeches. The artwork is displayed so beautifully, but some of the pieces where I would have liked to have gotten in super close were way up high. Are these leather? I don't know, but I do like that coat. This was a wonderful example of an ensemble with leather breeches, and because it was a large portrait of this gentleman, I could really get in close and see all these beautiful details. I loved everything he was wearing. His white waistcoat, his white cravat, and then his buff-colored coat. And look at that beautiful teal-colored lining of the coat, which is also shown in the painting. And then his wonderful stockings and his beautiful shoes with these fancy buckles. This is the wonderful thing about walking through a museum for inspiration. You're looking at the real thing. Color. Color is another big aspect of doing my research for these costumes. I'm seeing the color in its real primary source from these paintings. I loved this guy's outfit too. A little later, though, than my time period. So, when I looked at this painting, I had to sort of rock back and forth to really see this beautiful detail that the painter had captured of the patterning on this black doublet. And I wondered, can that accurately be reproduced in a print, in a book? And this is the thing, sometimes it can't. You have to be seeing the real thing in person. Another example of an incredible garment that was captured by the painter. Those gilt threads in this woman's dress. And that was my day at the Yale Center for British Art, but I could not leave New Haven without having famous New Haven pizza. Sally's goes back to 1938, and their coal-fired pizza is so delicious. Yum, yum, yum.